3, 2, 1, Larry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Big Idea podcast. It's going to be a fun week. We've got Ken Kuczwaj with us. The guy's going to bring a wealth of knowledge and a lot of things you might not have known about dealing with Amazon. So without further ado, Ken, and by the way, if anyone wants to stick around after the show, we're going to get Mike Larkin drunk and see if he can spell and pronounce Ken's last name.
I'll pay him $20.
I probably pronounce it better than he does.
Well,
Ken, tell us what you do, how you do it. We're all ears, my friend.
Okay, great. Well, I work for a company called Dealery Process. Company's been around over 17 years and started out as a website building company owned by a dealer principal. So he built a better mousetrap. And then, of course, like all companies, evolved into digital marketing as that became a big thing for dealers. And then 5 years ago, there was a little company called Amazon who started selling their first-party data. And Dealery Process was one of the first companies to jump on a bandwagon and start utilizing Amazon's data to help car dealers sell more cars, drive more ROs into the service drive, and even we do campaigns where we sell us your car campaigns. And of course, we can hit the English and Spanish market. So it's an interesting program. And obviously, Amazon can reach 91% of the people. And that's an important fact because I come from the dealership world, and I'm going to date myself, but we did radio, newspaper, and local cable TV affiliates. Well, today cable TV can reach 25 to 35% of the people in a DMA, but with Amazon, we can reach 91% of the people. In addition, the geo-targeting.
Wait a minute, you blew right by that. I don't even believe the Super Bowl gets 91% of the population. So that's an unbelievable statistic.
Right. Well, it's the reason why we're seeing all the shopping malls go out of business, right? Because Amazon's taking over everything. So, yeah, that is a true statistic. 91% of the people shop on Amazon. And that tells us a few things, Larry. It tells us, A, where they live, right? And that's important because they get 3 deliveries a week. So the geo-targeting, when we build these campaigns utilizing Amazon's data, is incredibly accurate. So in other words, when you're using third-party geo-targeting firms, believe it or not, they're up to 40% inaccurate. So a dealer, for example, in Los Angeles could be sending impressions to people in San Francisco. Chances of that person buying a car, zil. And of course, what happens? They're wasting money and their ROI goes down on their ad spend. So first and foremost, we have incredible accuracy in the geo-targeting. Number 2, there's a database of over 180 million vehicles in what they call the Amazon garage. And this is because Amazon, believe it or not, is the #1 auto parts seller in the United States. So to buy an auto part on Amazon, you have to put your vehicle statistics in there. So make, model, mileage, and of course, now we have a database of what parts have they purchased. Why is this important? This is one of the main databases I use to build an audience. So say I go to a Toyota dealer and they say, well, we've got a bunch of plug-in hybrids and, let's go after every plug-in hybrid owner from 3 to 6 or 3 to 8 years old in these zip codes. I can build that audience. That's the first advantage with Amazon. And then you've probably heard you can now buy a Hyundai on Amazon, which is sort of interesting. So Amazon started a pilot program with Hyundai where you can actually purchase a vehicle, do the whole deal online, bring it to your local Hyundai dealer and pick up your vehicle. So that's sort of interesting. And they have a thing called the OEM showroom. BMW's in there too. More OEMs are coming. I'm not sure all of the OEMs will actually sell cars on Amazon, but they're referred to local dealers. So what that tells me, people now, I know their behavior, that they're probably in market for a vehicle because they're playing with Hyundais or BMWs in the OEM showroom. And then the third data set that's very unique to Amazon and really crushes it is what they call life events. So there are 26 life events that Amazon tracks. And when people are getting married, graduating from college, starting a family, they set up a registry. And believe it or not, data has shown they're 6 times more likely to purchase a vehicle during these life events. So we target them. But the cool thing is with Amazon is that we follow the consumer on their digital journey. Now, a lot of dealers, when we first came out to the market with this 5 years ago, they were like, oh, we sending ads on Amazon.com. No, there are no ads on Amazon.com. What happens is, Larry, you shop on Amazon, I'm assuming. You go home and you log into Hulu or Apple TV or Amazon Prime. I know you're there. I can send you an ad. Conversely, you go on your laptop, you log in with the same email address that is your Amazon unique ID, which of course is your email address. Boom, I can send you ads there. I can send you online video ads and display ads. Of course, those are clickable and we can send them to any landing page for a dealer. So this now with cookies going away and 70% of people are opting out of cookies, it's diluted Google's stronghold on the market. And Amazon does have the best first party data. Again, 91% of the people I can reach. So we build these amazing audiences and serve them ads wherever they go on their digital journey. But then something really great happens after 60 days. A dealer can upload their sales data into the Amazon Marketing Cloud, an anonymized, encrypted clean room. We don't touch the data for privacy issues, obviously. And then we spit out what's called a matchback report. So say a dealer shows 200 sales for that month. We'll show them how many of those sales saw the ads that we served. And we never tell a dealer that we sold the car. We just say we're part of the attribution. But when our cost per sale is under $150, we know that that's a great value for the dealers. Conversely, when it comes to service, I love the service campaigns because I used to be a fleet guy and service was everything on those big trucks. But we can take the dealer's DMS, so all the people who haven't been in for service for at least a year, run them through the marketing cloud, the Amazon Marketing Cloud, see if they're still in a DMA, and then serve them ads, usually with a great offer to entice them to come in. So, typically when we get done with all this, a dealer looks at his ROI, the accuracy of reporting. We also built, it took us 18 months, but we built a state-of-the-art dashboard that our clients have access to. And it's also, I'm not just the sales guy, I'm the campaign manager. So I stay on forever with my dealers and I manage the campaigns. And we have a thing called the heat map. So I can see all the zip codes that we're targeting, and then I could layer in all of their sales. And if I see zip codes that they're getting sales from that we're not advertising to, I could immediately make that change in real time. So it gives me total control of the campaigns and really starting to attack, particularly when they want to conquest one of their competitors' backyard. So in a nutshell, that's the Amazon digital program.
Pretty interesting. And you can, I mean, the exponential growth of Amazon is beyond human comprehension from a guy that thought he was going to be a bookseller. But obviously the easier we make it for people, listen, no disrespect to Jeff Bezos, but most people tell you they don't like Amazon and they don't like the fact that they put the local stores out of business, but they go to it because it's convenient. And salesmen are like water. They take the path of least resistance. The easier it is to do things, the better. And in a world impeded with frustrations and you get 5 prompts and then they hang up on you, easier is going to be better. And one thing that with companies like Amazon, they don't sit still. It's not like they say we have a system. They're probably going to refine it and keep moving forward and make things easier and more comprehensive. You probably know stuff about it that we don't know yet, but they've obviously got a lot of directions they want to explore. They're going to make the process easier for customers, which is going to make it easier for dealers in turn.
Yeah, and one of the things I forgot to mention that Amazon is doing this directly, but now they're going out to dealers to list CPOs, certified pre-owns, right? So they're going after Cars.com and Auto Trader. and they're going to compete head to head. And one thing we know with Amazon, when they started, right, we had Facebook and Google. Those were the two giants in digital, right? Well, Amazon now is growing at a faster rate than those two guys combined. And obviously the brain trust and Amazon have decided they want to conquer the automotive vertical. Now they use Amazon verified partners like us to reach out to dealers. And we hope it continues that way, but you never know. I mean, maybe one day they'll decide to bring it all in-house. We've been assured that's not the case, but all of a sudden they popped up with this certified pre-owned, and that is Amazon Direct. So that creates a little confusion in the market. And I have a lot of my dealer clients going, well, I'm already doing Amazon. I'm like, well, are you doing the CPOs? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, totally different than utilizing Amazon's first party data to find in-market customers, drive them to your website. Because, I think about the car business when I was in it, everyone just came to a dealership. But today, everybody's doing hours of research online before making a decision. And of course, today, coming out of tariffs and now gas prices sky high, people are ultra sensitive to the monthly payments, right? So the OEM with the best lease deals is driving more and more business. So it's so important. It's easy to switch someone from, say, a Subaru to a Volkswagen with the right offer. I mean, Kia last year absolutely crushed it.
Go ahead.
Because that's
another deal. That's another deal, Ken.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a question that is percolating that I go to. You said that Amazon has 91%. What was that number?
91% of people shop on Amazon.
Okay. So you mentioned privacy, you mentioned compliance. So because of Amazon being an Amazon and that they've already learned how to capture us because they either have us on Prime or whatever, one of their services, they already have our email, and we as consumers have opted in. Is that where it is? That because all of the consumers have gone onto an Amazon site, that the privacy and all the protocols and all the security is handled by you, and so you're the big machine, and so because of you being the big machine, you have access inside. Is that how it operates?
Well, to clarify, obviously Amazon's the big machine who has that data, right?
Okay.
And there is still certain levels of privacy. When we do the matchback report, the dealer doesn't get the information of.
Yeah, you said that it gets
right.
put into like an encrypted, and they can. Right. It's their data. If they want to go through it, they can go through it. So you have protocols of keeping that information private. Right. And you're not just taking it out of sources that you're not supposed to. And no, so that's
of course not. Amazon would never endanger their business model by violating.
Right. They're capturing data. Somebody. Right. So if they have that individual's email in their particular database, they have the legal right to send them ads and different various marketing based on the laws that have been put. So no, that is because I'm learning. I'm not even going to even try to be an expert on it. Mike is trying to teach me EEAT with Google. So Google is looking for that. And now you have everybody trying to raise their authority level. You guys become the gorilla, the 800-pound gorilla, because you're controlling all that merchandise under your umbrella, and that's been able to make everybody like it a lot.
Correct. And because Amazon has such a wide berth where people can purchase anything on there, we can understand their purchase habits, and on not
What,
just
what
automotive,
movies?
on
What
everything,
movies
right?
they like? What TV shows are they watching? Sporting events? Are they watching cooking
Right.
channels? Are they watching all the different things? Because Prime, they're forcing us on Prime to watch the sports. So NFL. You want to watch some of the games, you need to be on one of the packages that they're offering, or you can't see some of the games. So they're controlling today's consumer. So why wouldn't they have all the knowledge on the vehicles and the way they're buying habits and things like that? They got the
Well,
data.
that as technology, and we've watched it right from the beginning of the internet. As technology changes, the first thing to go was newspapers, right? I
Right.
mean, people started getting their newspapers digitally, and they didn't really look at the ads like the old days. And then the next thing to go, right, was shopping, as we saw, businesses like travel agencies, go away. Then the internet destroyed the music business for the most part. So, we're seeing this evolution of technology, and it's the same thing in the automotive space, right? I mean, I've still run across one or two dealers that, still like to do radio. But in the old days, advertising was what we called spray and pray,
Right.
right? It's like a
Right.
billboard. We have 100,000 people a day see it, but we don't really know of that 100,000 how many are really in market for a vehicle or for a specific vehicle, right?
Sure.
But we know with a certain degree of certainty when people have a car that's over 6 years old in the Amazon garage, they're more likely to be in market, because I think
Yeah.
today there's different numbers out there, but it's between 6.7 and 8.5 years people are keeping vehicles, right? And then of course we have the lease returns at 3 years. But for the most part, we get to understand
Yeah. The
consumer
habits,
behavior
the
from an
behavior,
Amazon level,
the behavior of the consumer. What are they
right?
buying? Did they buy tires? Did they do a brake job? Where did they go? Did they go back to the dealer, or did they go to the local Meineke? I mean, that information is just priceless.
Yeah, exactly. And like when you talk about service, right, for vehicles, where that's all the money today. All the money for a dealership is in, fixed ops. So when I can take, their DMS data and see who hasn't been in for a year and entice them to come back with a $19 oil change and a free inspection. Well, if the dealership's on point, they're doing a full inspection, they're going to find two or three things to increase the value of that RO. And then if the salespeople are on point, they're working that service drive saying, "Hey, would you like to take a look at our new Kias or new Hyundais or whatever?"
Let me appraise your vehicle. Let me give you a number on your vehicle while you're here for your service. By
Right?
the way, if you haven't bought an extended warranty, we'll make
Yeah,
sure that you get an offer and a quote before you drive out of here this afternoon. So
yeah.
yeah,
And now you've engaged a previous customer again, so that's incredibly valuable because, like I said earlier, the average consumer now is spending hours researching online before they walk into the dealership. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
in the old days, you had 6 salespeople waiting outside for the next up, and as soon as that person got out of the car, it was like, okay, what do you need? But today, people are walking into a dealership, they already know what they want. They know the package they want, and they have some ideas on pricing because, there are a lot of internet services out there like True
and,
Cars that'll show you the best deals that have been done in the DMA. So
and
you've got highly educated consumers trying to buy the second most expensive thing they'll buy in their life after their home, which is their vehicle.
Ken,
I
I got
love
a
it.
question. I got a question for you. Been a lot of talk on there's gold in them CRMs, and when you're working with a rooftop, do you have the ability to analyze their data and analyze what their customers are doing, or is it kind of, okay, here's a package for you in your 20-mile radius, pick what you want?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, there's a couple of parts to that. I mean, the first thing I'll always do when I, go to see a dealer is A, look at their inventory, and B, maybe give me the last 2 years historical of sales. Are you up, down, year over year? What vehicles are you selling the most of, right? and where are you hurting? What are your pain points, right? I don't typically need to take their CRM data for sales, although I could, but it works like magic with service because people tend to go to Jiffy Lube because they don't want to wait 2 hours for an oil change at a dealership, right?
Right.
But when you send an ad in, 30 minutes guaranteed, or it's free, and you have instead of, I think a synthetic oil change is up to $120 at Jiffy Lube, right?
Wow.
But if you can get it for $29 at your dealership, today people will want to save that $90 and they'll go to that dealership. So that's where, the power of me looking at, their previous customers and making sure, A, they still have the vehicle, and B, they're still in the DMA. So I'm not wasting that dealer's ad dollars sending people who may have moved from Los Angeles and moved to Las Vegas, because they're not coming in from service for Las Vegas to LA.
No. Thank you for that. Yeah. Go ahead,
Hey, Ken, what is one of the biggest misunderstandings that the dealer principal or the general manager have when it comes to understanding social media marketing? Because I sit here trying to learn every day, and I'm still clouded on stuff.
Right.
Where's the biggest pain points that you see dealers are kind of like running into a wall, and they really need to stop doing that so we can help them?
Yeah, there's two sets of dealers, right? There are dealers that are in the modern era that understand digital and understand that's the way to do things today, right? And some of the old school dealers who've been a GM for 30 plus years in a store and still wants to do, things that are a little antiquated, and they can't wrap themselves around the digital world. Like I talk to a lot of dealers, and when I explain to them that we follow the consumer on their digital journey, they always come back and say, well, is the ads only going to be on Amazon Prime, right? So
They don't understand that you're able to follow that. Right. They still think it's old school, like you started earlier, like they were all trained on, which was spray and pray. And now
and now it's very granular how I can build an audience. Like, for example, for a Mercedes store, I once geofenced Whole Food shoppers. And why would I do that? Well, A, Amazon owns Whole Foods, but B, who shops at Whole Foods? The more affluent people, right? People who tend to drive luxury cars.
They want their organic
right.
food, and they're going to go there.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same thing for a dealership that had strong ties to a local university, and I geofenced the stadium during football games, right?
Perfect. So everybody's at the game, and then it comes on their feeds through different social medias.
Right. Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it follows them, again, on their digital journey if they're matched to
sure. If you have them in your database as whether they say the AI agents are checking everything or everything's verifying it, and if they get a positive hit, they push the ad.
Right. And then
that's amazing.
To get back to your question, Gary, the newer dealers or the dealers that have, groups tend to have a marketing department. And most of the marketing people that I meet are on point. They're sharp. They get it. They understand it.
Yeah.
They may not have tried Amazon, right? Because most of their money has been Google and Meta, Facebook, right? Search and,
well, it's also your price point. I mean, unfortunately, dealers buy based on cost. And so if they think they can get more visibility at a lower cost with a different source, we know that we know now that the data is clear. There's big differences in the data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell dealers, look, we're not telling you to change your whole budget to Amazon, but Amazon should be part of your digital strategy. And if you're not utilizing that data, you're missing a really important component.
A big chunk of the segment, a big chunk of that market of.
Right. I mean, because, Google was the 900-pound gorilla forever with search and SEO. And then the other thing I find, too, is that sometimes their website, which we build the best websites in the industry, and tons of dealers will tell you that. But their website is not really working properly with some of their digital efforts. So consumers get to the wrong page when they click on something. And then the consumer gets frustrated, loses the experience, right? So, if I'm running an ad on a Tiguan on a lease, I want to make sure it goes to the Tiguan landing page. So
Right.
there's a lot of little things to make sure that customer stays engaged. And then the internet department knows they're on the website, they've captured the lead, and they start the dialogue, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't drive that person into the dealership for a test drive and to sit down with a salesperson, you're probably not going to sell them a vehicle.
That's the conversion. The conversion is the differences of getting them in, and which sources do a better job with that conversion of bringing the customer. The higher percentages are the ones coming in for a test drive.
100%, and that's where I see
Haven't
dealers
changed.
fail.
Things haven't changed. It's just where they're getting their visibility and where the ads are. You just got to be in front of where their visibility is. If they're at a ball game, or if they're at the beach, or if they're at a music venue, now it's just where they are. You just got to put your dealership's information in front of them there, not in other places.
Yeah,
And then hope and pray once they get there that the dealership has
that they follow through with what they promised online. Yeah, that's a whole other conference that we can have.
That's that's all. But and one of the things when I get to know some of the GMs, and I meet some of the salespeople. Sometimes, and I've purchased a bunch of cars for my kids recently, myself, my wife. Product knowledge is lacking. And I don't know, the dealers, I'm not sure if the training's right, but, I purchased a car not too long ago for my daughter, and I was shocked. I knew more about the vehicle than the salesperson. And,
I've been walking into a lot of stores, and I don't know where somebody said it, but the attitude's like, meh. It's like, oh, you're here? There's no positivity. There's no welcoming. It's just like they're there grinding through. So the auto industry needs to start smiling again and getting a little pep back in their step. It's the spring market, and make customers feel welcome and that they're with pros that understand that product.
Yeah, I mean, I purchased an Audi 5 months ago, and it was the most amazing experience ever. I was like blown away, and I'm trying to convert them. I'm trying to convert them to Amazon now. They've got 5 stores in a group, but the experience from F&I to the salesperson to the GM who came over, unparalleled. And all dealers should follow that kind of model. I mean, I've seen the opposite. Well,
we know, but Lair, I think, as we say, we try to keep this show about a half an hour. I look forward to learning a little bit more about your offerings and see if there's some synergy. Sounds great. And I'm an F&I guy that just keeps on finding himself learning more and more about marketing. And, once you think you understand a little bit, it's changing. And every day in AI, but AI and digital, and you guys now, you can see what the activity is in the market. It's a science now. Put the worm in front of them where they are, and now let them come in. I think that's beautiful. Thank you. Nice meeting you, Ken.
Yeah, same here. Gary, Larry, Mike, thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. And if anybody wants information, please call me directly. That's my cell phone. I work 7 days a week because, as we know, the auto business never rests.
Wow.
Amen.
Hey, well, hope you get a chance to watch a little bit of the Masters.
That's all I'm doing on Saturday and Sunday. The announcement has been sent to everyone in my family. Do not bother me. Do not ask for anything.
This is the peace that I just want. I want to watch in peace for a couple of days. God
Correct.
bless you. That's great.
Everybody have a great day and stay healthy. And thank you
All
so
right.
much. Sam.
Thank you,
Have a great
everybody.
weekend.
Have a great
All right.
weekend,
Bye now.
guys.
Good night.